Coming up on Mountain News this morning, for nearly 45 years, officials were unable to identify the victim in a Laurel County cold case. But now police know the name of the victim and where they were from. And what role could artificial intelligence play in forecasting weather events? One group says a new project could help predict flash flooding events.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. We are just past 5:30 on November 17th. Now let's check in with Chief Forecaster Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. And Brandon, we have made it through another dry week and we are finally going to see some rain today, and that's going to be really, really good for some of these forest fires that we're still seeing out there.
Absolutely, and some fires, just regular fires ongoing. I know we've sent our Madison Carmouche out to a house fire in Perry County this morning. Hope to hear from her pretty soon. But again, very dry out there this morning. Downtown Whitesburg, the same thing going on across parts of the region that basically everybody's seeing this morning. Just dry conditions. 55 downtown, pretty quiet there on Main Street. Temperatures from 38 Grundy until 64 up in Irvin. A lot of low 60s up toward Moorhead and Somerset. A little bit of warm air kind of pushing in ahead of this front, but again, some cool response where there may be a few breaks in the clouds. As we look ahead, rain chances return late today. System number 2 moves in by Monday and Tuesday, and looking cold for Thanksgiving. And I'm talking about temperatures that may not make it out of the 30s in some spots. We're going to forecast a little bit warmer than that. Olivia?
All right, thank you, Brandon. A major fire in one Pike County community had first responders fighting flames. Ducker's Barn and Grill was a community favorite in Elkhorn City that opened its doors in the summer of 2020. The building on the corner of Russell Street and Kentucky 80 was engulfed in flames Wednesday night, which crews continued to battle into Thursday afternoon. Community members say it is hard to see what has become an area staple go up in smoke.
So having a place like this is really important to the community, and it's really going to be missed having this for the time that it's gone.
Farron hopes the owners will eventually reopen in a new location. Mayor Mike Taylor says a lot of love and labor went into the restaurant. Investigators say the building materials and type of construction made things difficult. Fire officials say it is not yet known what sparked the fire. A Laurel County school teacher is now facing charges. Melissa Ann Neely was arrested at North Laurel Middle School on Wednesday. She's facing drug possession and several other charges. Police say this all started after a complaint of drug activity at the school. They say officers executed a search warrant, and they say they found evidence of drug use both in Neely's purse and in her car. And they say she did not obey their commands and officers had to physically restrain her. New developments in a Laurel County cold case more than 4 decades old. Kentucky State Police say they now know the name of the victim. Police say the remains of Michael Murray were found in 1978. Murray was originally from Atlanta but had been living in California. Post 11 partnered with the FBI to use the National Missing Person and Identification System to identify Murray.
It's an awesome day for law enforcement and the Kentucky State Police and the London Post. And, you know, it's a little bit of closure for the family who thought their son was a victim of a crime and would never be solved.
Pennington says Murray was murdered and they still do not know who killed him. Pennington adds that he hopes this case can provide hope to families who are still searching for their loved ones. A mistrial has been declared in the civil rights trial of the former Louisville police officer federally charged in the 2020 shooting death of 26-year-old Breonna Taylor. Thursday, the judge declared the mistrial for Brett Hankinson after jurors were unable to reach a unanimous verdict. According to the Courier-Journal, prosecutors say Hankinson used unjustified force. the night Taylor was killed and violated her civil rights and those of Taylor's boyfriend and 3 of her neighbors. An attorney for the Taylor family said the assistant attorneys from the DOJ indicated it's their intention to retry Hankinson in this case. Many in Bell County continue to mourn the loss of a student following a deadly crash. Bell County High School student Kaylee Inman died as a result of the crash. High school administrators set up a memorial honoring Inman. They also have had grief counselors at the school for students impacted yesterday. Jonathan Martin, who is a medical director for behavioral health at Baptist Health Corbin, says dealing with grief can be long-term.
It's relatively normal for you to have crying spells or have waves of emotion that come and go, and to relatively high intensity even months and years later. And as long as those are passive and it's sporadic and not very frequent, that
Bell County High School administrators say they are working to help Inman's family with funeral expenses. You can help to donate by contacting the school. Another student, Alan Buell, was seriously hurt in the crash. A new partnership between the University of Illinois Urbana Campaign and International Business Machines, or IBM, could benefit Eastern Kentucky. Together, they will use artificial intelligence to research flash flooding in Appalachia. WYMT's Madison Carmouche spoke to leaders of the project and has more.
After seeing the devastation that followed the July 2022 flood, the IBM Sustainability Accelerator Program introduced a new group, Water and Sanitation.
And so in hearing about the outcomes of the flash flood in Kentucky, but also in North Carolina last year, with so many people dying and huge economic impacts and the devastation, and knowing that we could do something better, that would be more local, more adapted to what is going to happen in a specific region of the mountains is really so important.
They will use an artificial intelligence geospatial foundation model to predict rainfall and flood forecasting.
The IBM Sustainability Accelerator is focused on serving communities who are especially vulnerable to environmental threats. So seeing those challenges play out in real life is a huge part of the motivation for us to intervene.
Jacob says the outcome of the project will include some kind of mobile communication for affected communities.
This is a massive problem and it's an urgent problem. And the floods of recent years show how critical it is to really get to insights and recommendations for emergency managers and others that they can trust.
Both officials say that the goal of the project is to give people more time to get out of harm's way. Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
The project will be underway for the next 2 years and has partnerships with both domestic and international institutions. A symposium was held in Woodford County Thursday to help show employers the benefit of hiring veterans. Officials with Kentucky Community and Technical College System invited employers who were interested in hiring veterans and transitioning service workers to continue in outside careers after their time of service. Dallas Kratzer is a veteran himself and has worked hands-on in getting veterans hired for years. He shared just how many veteran success stories he has seen.
We have service members that are in jobs as aircraft maintenance officers or specialists. We have folks in the medical field as medical assisting, EMTs.
Kratzer also added it is a stressful time for veterans coming out of the military, going into a new career, but the idea of the symposium is to make the transition smoother. Today is the last day of the Big Blue Crush Blood Drive. The annual event is hosted by the Kentucky Blood Center. So far, the blood drive pits Kentucky against Tennessee to see which state can donate the most blood. As of yesterday evening, Kentucky was ahead of Tennessee by just 97 donors. For more information about how you can donate blood today, visit WYMT.com and search for Big Blue Crush. And coming up, a party for Mary Poppins' famous chimney sweep, and how Dick Van Dyke is being honored for his birthday.
Now, come on, UK fans. We can't let those Vols beat us there in that blood drive. Again, rain chances on the way coming into play as we see the clouds increase. I'll have more in about 3 minutes.